Hi, and welcome to Shannon's Corner. I am Shannon Devereaux Sanford, and I thank you so much for joining us here today on your favorite radio station, WTBQ. And don't forget, we are now 93.5 FM, as well as our very faithful 1110 AM. And I hope you are doing great today. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. And we're actually really thankful for the things you have. I mean, that is the way it's supposed to be, right? We're supposed to be thankful. It's not so hard to do. It's actually a good thing to do. It is good. We shouldn't have to be reminded once a year to be thankful, but it's good to remember to be thankful because, number one, be thankful for what you do have, because if you didn't have it, you'd be really sorry. And also, you get more and you feel better about your life when you are thankful. So I hope you had a good time, and I hope you're not feeling too guilty that you ate all that turkey and all that pumpkin pie and all those mashed potatoes and all that good stuff. And it's probably a good thing you did, because I think that we all should treat ourselves once in a while. But the key there is once in a while, not all the time, because if we did that, we'd be real sorry. So don't feel guilty, but now let's get back on track, because we are going to talk about how you can stay healthy and diet and stay, I think I'm going to say this is more than just a diet book. So I don't want to go into this with Roslyn Franken, who has written a new book, The A-List, 9 Guiding Principles for Healthy Eating and Positive Living. So it's more than just a diet book. It is about a living well book. So we're going to talk about that today, and I don't want you to feel guilty for your choices. I just want you to really make good choices, as I say all the time. And I want to welcome Roslyn Franken to Shannon's Corner. How are you today?
I am doing great. Thank you so much. It's great to be here.
Well, it's great to have you. Now, this is the season. Here we go. All the cookies and cakes and all the eggnog and all the food is everywhere. And it's hard to resist. And it's part of being festive and part of being social. So, everybody's like, oh, God, okay, I will diet when it comes to January, February, all that time, when all of this is over. But to you, is diet a bad word, or it is just a way to, should we say that to ourselves? I can do anything I want now because next month is going to be different. Is that a good way to keep us maintained a healthy weight?
Absolutely not.
Oh, okay.
Not that I don't understand it, because, of course, it's the holidays and you want to enjoy and you want to indulge here and there. And by all means, it's about being able to indulge guilt-free, but doing it in a health and weight-wise way, right? There's healthy ways to indulge, and there's unhealthy ways to indulge. And one of the things I talk about, when I was writing my book and when I work with my coaching clients, I recognized that there were a lot of patterns that people had who struggle with eating and weight, and I saw the same patterns over and over again, and I certainly suffered from this pattern myself too, that can really get in the way of maintaining a healthy weight through the holiday season and into the new year, and that is that all or nothing diet mentality. Well, I'll eat whatever I want now, and then come January, I'll get really strict with myself. But you know what? It doesn't have to be that way. What if you could have it all? What if you can eat and enjoy over the holiday season and come January not be crying the post-holiday weight gain blues, as I call it? Wouldn't that be a nice thing, Shannon?
Yeah, it seems almost impossible for most people, but it would be really nice. It would be really nice because we want to go to that party. We want to drink that extra glass of wine. We want to eat that pie. We want to, taste that wonderful little hors d'oeuvre that our favorite host has made. It's, can we do all that and still maintain a healthy weight and a healthy lifestyle?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So anybody listening who's thinking, well, I can't do that. Yeah, right. The idea of, well, I'm not going to pass up any food opportunity. Again, it's about being smart about it. So, if just as a little tip, if you know that you're going to a Christmas party, a holiday party in the evening, and there's going to be temptation galore and lots of food, if you know that you struggle with your weight and you're trying to do better, if you've made a decision that you want to do better, then there's a dangerous food opportunity if you walk into it over hungry.
Well, that's true.
Right?
Yes,
that's
that is true.
Used to do. I used to be, when I was struggling with my food and weight issues, and I was going to a wedding, for example, I would practically starve myself all day, thinking, I'm not going to eat too much because I'm going to the wedding and I want to, stuff my face. right? But that's a recipe for disaster, because when you let yourself walk into a situation like that over hungry, it's very, very difficult to make smart choices. You're just going to want to eat anything in sight.
How did you
Right?
get into all this? Absolutely right. And I can hear people saying that, and I do that too. We all do that. Oh, I'm not going to eat anything today because I'm going out tonight. So that doesn't really work, is what you're saying. We overindulge then. And what? I mean, don't eat the same amount of calories. Let's say you stay at 2,000 calories a day or 25 or whatever it is. And does it matter that you eat them all at once like that at night?
But you probably will end up eating more. People
that's the
don't
problem.
realize, Shannon, that even the smallest things, people kind of think, oh, well, it's only small, so it can't be bad. They judge, when it comes to food, size does matter.
Oh, really?
Just to give you an example, when you're at a party and there's a tray with those little cheese cubes and there's those bowls of cashew nuts lying around, it is so easy to mindlessly eat cube after cube of cheese. That's a good cheese. Oh, let me try that other one. That's really good. But you don't realize that little 1-inch cube of cheese has like 120 calories.
Yeah.
So if you've downed like 10 little cubes of cheese and then have, handfuls of cashews that are like 800 calories in a cup, this isn't about sitting there having to count every calorie you eat, because that would just drive you crazy. But when you have some concept of what you're eating, it's the quantities of these foods that can get you into trouble. Because you could have that cheese and those nuts, and the main meal haven't come out yet, and you can have a day's worth of calories easily.
Yeah. No, you had cancer when you were quite young, and you had some really tough times. And is that what made you get less healthy than you are now? And was it overcoming the cancer that made you change your life, or did they have nothing to do with each other?
Well, no, going through the cancer was an experience that taught me that positive living piece of my book that I talk about. A lot of the things that I talk about have to do with mindset. So a lot of people think that to eat healthy and lose weight, you have to change your lifestyle. Well, yes, you have to change your lifestyle, but you also have to change your mind style and your heart style. That it's not just about the food you feed your body, but the thoughts you feed your mind and the emotions you feed your heart. And through the cancer, I learned how to overcome a lot of negative thinking, a lot of stress, issues around stress, because I knew that stress and negativity would just lower my immune system, which would make it harder to fight my fight and beat my cancer. So at 39 years old, 10 years later, when I got on the scale and saw that I was at my heaviest weight ever, I just couldn't understand how I could have let that happen. Like, how could I have let myself put on all that weight, put myself at risk of more health issues? It just didn't make sense to me. And I just stood there and said, that's it. Enough with dieting. My slogan is say no to the yo-yo. No more yo-yo dieting. I said all the things I'd done in the past that most people do when they think of weight loss and controlling their weight. I just said it doesn't work, because I tried different things over the years. So it was really the cancer journey. I looked back and I thought, what was my mindset? How did I get through that? Like,
right.
how did I deal with the inner demons that were trying to get the better of me in terms of fear and stress and anxiety? And I thought, I've got to get in better control, because a lot of our eating is often either because of our emotions, right? Because the food just makes us feel good and feel better. And also just the absolute mindlessness around eating, So it really is a process of waking up, and it was through my weight loss journey that really, that's how I really put it together. That combined with a whole lot that I learned in terms of my mental attitudes through the cancer experience and applying it to my weight loss journey. It's quite remarkable, when you read it and when you understand what the principles are, how those two things actually come together. It's about change. It's about whatever kind of change you need to make in your life. These principles apply to them.
So what you're really saying is through a really hardship, you learned a good lesson. You learned discipline. You learned how to take a bad situation, which certainly getting a diagnosis of cancer is, and thank goodness you survived and you're fine. But that was partly because of how you handled it. So you took that mindset and changed other things in your life, your weight and your life, and you took that positive attitude. And you say that the positive attitude is probably the key thing that you talk about in here. And one of the things you also talk about, aside from all the stuff that you need to know about food, you also talk about a pleasing principle, a people principle, that you felt that you had to please people for a while there. That, eating, somebody would lay out food for you and you would have to do it because you wanted to be the nice guest. So there's a sense of, and I think this is something that women have more than men, is that disease to please. Is that part of not taking care of ourselves, needing to please other people first?
Absolutely, absolutely. I call it the plague of the people pleasers, and I say that there's nothing wrong with wanting to do things to please others. It's when you're constantly doing things to please others at the expense of getting your needs and wants met. That's when it's a problem. And I was very much a people pleaser. I would, if I was at someone's home, want to finish everything on my plate because I wouldn't want them to think that I didn't enjoy it. It's better that I should go home, with my top button undone and busting a gut than, possibly think that the hostess was offended. So,
right.
I mean, I'm sure people listening have been in that situation where you've had enough to eat. Your stomach is full. And then they say, oh, but you have to try my new chocolate brownie recipe. Here, have some. And it's on your plate, and all of a sudden you're eating it when really maybe you didn't want to be eating it, right? You just feel obligated.
But how can we do that? Can we take a bite and say, that's so good, I'm just full? I mean, can we do something that, that we're being polite and rude? I mean, moderation is a key, I think, in life in so many ways. Isn't moderation also a key in life in maintaining and stabilizing your weight?
Absolutely, absolutely. And, on my website at thealistbook.com, I actually have a whole article about that. Moderation is key to weight loss, so people can get a free article about that right from my website. Absolutely, moderation is key because people marvel when they're working with me, because I say to them, there's nothing you cannot eat. It's just learning how to make wise choices. And the really neat thing is that when you make wise choices long enough and consistently enough, your wants and desires for foods actually change. And people find that really hard to believe. They say, yeah, right, I love this food or that food. I can't imagine ever not liking it. But myself, for example, I used to love wine coolers. Like, I'm not a beer drinker, and if I was ever at a social event or a barbecue or something and they're passing around the drinks, I'd go, oh, I'll have my, Mike's Hard Lemonade or whatever, whatever wine cooler. And now I just find them so sweet. All I taste is the sugar, and they just don't taste good to me. I would rather just have like a regular glass of wine, for example. So just to say that your tastes can change over time so that you don't feel deprived of this thing that you used to love and have all the time. All of a sudden, it's not even, you don't feel deprived because it's not even on your radar anymore. It's amazing. But that's when you know you've made permanent changes.
So there's a certain sort of weaning
that I talk
here.
About is how do you permanently change habits?
Yeah, right. Okay, habits is a good thing. So there's a weaning from the bad habit. You don't just say, okay, give up sugar, give up carbohydrates, give up all the bad things in your life. If you wean yourself slightly off of them, after a while you don't want them, is part of the key of how to change your habits. Is that right?
Oh, that's exactly it. And the thing is that people often, they struggle in how to do that, and they're not sure how to do it, or they struggle doing it on their own. So that's why my book combined with my coaching is very powerful, because sometimes we have habits and reasons for what we do that we don't know that we're doing, or reasons why we sabotage ourselves. We're just on the brink of success. We're just right there at that tipping point, and then we sabotage and we go back to our old habits. Why? So there's a lot to be said for having somebody kind of be that mirror for you, help you see the forest through the trees, help you see yourself in a new and exciting way where all of a sudden you could say, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I was doing that. And then once you know what it is, then I can help you change it, and you can do it on your own. Like, it's very, very powerful. It's very exciting to be able to embrace a positive change into your life when you give yourself permission to do it.
So you're saying doing it with someone like you. Now, you are obviously an author. You have written this new book, The A-List, 9 Guiding Principles for Eating Healthy and Positive for Healthy Eating, and positive living. You are also a motivational speaker, but on top of that, you are a personal coach. So you can coach someone. They can call you and you can work with them side by side to help them use the principles that you have written out in your book.
That's exactly it. Because, unfortunately, when you buy a book, sometimes it can become more shelf-help than self-help, as I call it, right?
Yeah,
we have
that's
the best
true.
of intentions, but when you have somebody there holding you accountable, looking at what you're doing, giving you feedback, listening to you, helping you see yourself in a new light, that's where the real transformation happens. And if people listening, if you've never experienced what having a coach is like, they can actually go to my website and, they can get my contact information and contact me, and let's set up a coaching session. Like, I'll walk you through what it could be like, and you could decide from there if you walk away from that and go like, wow, that felt really good. Well, then great. And if it's not, that's fine too. But give yourself an opportunity to try something new. It's the first step, Shannon, is making the decision to take action.
Uh-huh.
That's where it all starts.
And to do it with somebody is such a great thing, especially a kind of private, silent partner. I mean, silent not to you, but silent to the world sort of thing. So that you have this little pact you've made with someone besides yourself that you are accountable to. And making ourselves accountable to ourselves is very important, but we are very good at lying to ourselves. So making ourselves accountable to someone else that holds us accountable is probably a very good thing in something like this. I can see exactly how it would work. So what is your website again for everybody out there if they want to contact you for a coach?
The easiest way to get to my website is to go to thealistbook.com, TheAList book.com.
Which is on Shannon's Corner. So just go through WTBQ, click on Shannon's Corner, and there's a direct link. Definitely right to you. So if you're in the car, don't worry about writing it down. You can just go home, go to WTBQ, and it's right there. And your book, you can obviously get the book there. This book, by the way, we just talked around it, but it has everything you need to know. It has all the emotional, positive living aspects, but also healthy eating aspects. What you need to know about sugar and carbohydrates and calories and all the very basic things that are part of losing weight. So you've written a very comprehensive book here, full of everything that truly anyone needs to know. So this is your holiday season, probably a great time to get started, because then after the holidays, you're going to feel even better about yourself. So this is a great time to pick up the A-List, 9 Guiding Principles for Healthy Eating and Positive Living. Roslyn Franken, I thank you so much for joining us today. You've been a big help. And everybody, I encourage you to call her, go pick up the book, make a difference in your life. Hey, you only got one life to live, and we were just all so thankful for it. So be thankful for doing the right thing. Roslyn, I thank you so much for joining us today.
It was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And everybody, just go to her website, pick up the book, do yourself a favor, make a big change in your life. We have to come back. We have to take a break, and then we are going to come back. And we're going to talk about some more positive things in your life. So stay where you are, and we'll be back here in just a few on WTBQ.